Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Victor Andres, and this is Personal Finance Assessment. Hope you guys enjoy the show. My story. To get to know me better, I'm going to start off from high school, pretty much getting out of there. Parents took care of everything, so not much to say about my finances there. Once I was 18, I decided I was going to enlist. This decision wasn't light. It all came down to the money though too. So pretty much all I thought about was how am I going to pay for college? How am I going to, make more money than my parents were making and not work as hard as they were working. So when I looked at it, I pretty much saw it as go into debt and go to college. That's great, but I didn't want that debt and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Didn't have any passions really, but I did like mechanics. So the Army offered me a mechanic job. Went in as a 911 hotel with a track mechanic. Not exactly what I wanted, but it was mechanics. And so once I signed up, it took about 3 months before I got shipped out. Went to basic, Fort Knox, Kentucky. And then from there, went to AIT, Aberdeen Proving Grounds. Good times. I pretty much saved a lot of money while I was, going through all that stuff because there wasn't much to spend on other than your running shoes and maybe a couple hygiene items. Wasn't really looking to spend a lot there. But because I saved up so much and thought that, I should buy a car, my first car. I didn't get a car when I graduated high school. Parents didn't know anything about finances. They weren't well off. Coming from a poor family, that's just how it is. You kind of figure it out on your own. And so from that journey, I went ahead and purchased a brand new car at 18. No credit, no idea what I was doing. The banks told me, hey, look, we'll give you, $24,000 for a brand new car, but we won't give you $10,000 for a truck you want, And the reasons they gave me were more about the fact that they don't want to take high risk and not be paid. So if for whatever reason I couldn't pay, they could take the car back and make some of their money back. So I understood that. I get it. They're looking out for their interests. And they convinced me to just go ahead and get the new car. And I convinced myself that I was going to keep it forever. That didn't happen. Life happens, things change. I traded that car in for a loss later on. Even though I paid it off, still lost so much money on it because I wasn't ready for a new car. I just wanted a new car. So first mistake there, right? But hey, things happen. While I was in for the first 3 years, I loved it. I loved the military. They gave me so much, as far as education, they gave me leadership skills, they gave me a lot. They taught me a lot, right? And so from there, I decided that, hey, I could do this 20 years easily. Boy, was in for a world hurt, right? Things were not easy. Of course, life throws a lot at your way. If you're not ready for it, it's gonna hurt. But so once I bought that brand new car, I knew it was gonna go for a loss, but I didn't know at the time that I was gonna keep that forever. Convinced myself, hey, things are gonna work out, they're gonna be okay. Kind of just how it is, really. Being 18, not knowing what you're doing, it is what it is. From that point, I kind of put myself in a hole. Yeah, I wasn't struggling too much, but I was, I could have been doing better. I didn't know at the time that I was putting myself in this hole. I didn't know what interest was. I didn't know anything. Didn't seek any guidance. Didn't ask anybody from leadership on what I should be doing. I didn't say anything. I just kind of did it on my own. And that was my Hispanic pride, I guess, that I wanted to just figure it out. But here we are now. I think from that point, I went deployed into Afghanistan for about 9 months and came back with about $10,000. And a lot of it went towards the car to pay it off. But a lot of it also went to waste and just, blew it all, spent it all. I had no plan, had no idea what I was doing. So it just got spent. I didn't put in investments, nothing to show for it. I sold the car, I traded it in, I sold furniture that I bought, all these things just didn't work out. But it was also due to a bad influence in my life where I married the wrong person too fast, didn't really, get to know them or know who they were. It was like 2 years of the honeymoon phase and then 3 years of, the worst time of my life. Just trying to get the divorce done, trying to get, past it all. But it is what it is, right? So at this point, I reclassed, signed up for the military. I wanted to keep that consistent and keep going. I pretty much reclassified myself back to a 91 Bravo, which I am now, which is a wheel mechanic, and I enjoy it. I love the job, love what I do. Wouldn't trade for anything. So as life continues on, I head out to Texas. I find myself there, a couple years in and just going through some hardships with the divorce. That was really a big drag because once everything was, getting worse and worse, like I started to pay attention, started to notice that my finances were not good, that I had over leveraged myself. I put myself in a lot of debt for whatever reason. I thought that's what you were supposed to do. You're supposed to buy a house, start a family. I wasn't ready for that. And I kind of just jumped into it really quick without asking for guidance, without talking to anyone about it, just kind of trying to figure it all out, right? Once the divorce was, set to pretty much happen, she moved out. So the Army said, hey, the BH belongs to her. Go ahead and pay her rent. All right, that's $750 as a specialist. And that was not, any chump change by all means for a whole month. But once I pretty much put myself in that hole where I had a mortgage, 2 car notes, and a credit card that was maxed out at $10,000, I didn't know it was hurting me at the time. My credit was tanking and I didn't know why. I didn't know what credit was and I didn't inform myself. I didn't do any research. Just simply let life happen to me with no plan. But once I was down in that trench, that very rock bottom, I feel like I had to make a decision. I had to decide, do I want to continue doing what I'm doing and just keep going deeper into a hole, or do I just let it kind of just, not care, right? Like just give up almost, the sense of like, who cares what, happens to my debts? Who cares if I pay or don't pay? At this time, I'm still paying on time, but it's a struggle, right? It's getting to me. Hey, if you guys are enjoying the show, just do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the sub, the like, the comments, hit them all up. And then don't forget to hit that notification bell to pretty much push this out to everybody else. Share it. If you guys are enjoying it, I'm sure somebody else would enjoy it. Now back to the show. I'm getting stressed out. I'm getting overwhelmed. And I decided one day just to look myself in the mirror and just tell myself, is this who you are? Like, is this who you're going to be? Like somebody that doesn't care, lets themselves get into debt and then just doesn't pay back? And I told myself, no, like that's not who I am. Like I'm someone that works hard. I'm somebody that will pay these debts off. I owe this money, I'm going to pay it off one way or another, right? And at this point, I'm listening to Dave Ramsey, listening to his show. He was a big influence in my time of getting out of debt. And I just decided I had enough. Pretty much what he talks about, right? You had enough. You're tired of it. You're done with it. You want to change? Make the change. So by doing that, I got a second job. Even while being in full-time military, I let my leadership know, like, hey, I'm struggling. I need a second job. I'm trying to pay off these debts. I'm trying to get rid of some stuff. They understood where I was coming from. They knew what I was going through. They were very, forthright about, the Army comes first, and I understood that. But once I had the second job, I'm listening to Dave Ramsey's show, listening to the motivation, other people's stories, telling me what they're going through, how they, got past it all and pretty much paid it off. And it was motivating. It kept me in the game, making sure that, I didn't lose my motivation to understand that sometimes, no matter how hard it is, like if you keep going, there's better on the other side. And so what I'm trying to do with this channel here is trying to have conversations with, my younger self, in a sense where trying to make sure that, people that are 18 coming in don't do what I did and just try to figure out on their own. I'm trying to get them to open up and have a conversation with me so that way I can tell them of all my mistakes and have them learn from me rather than try to figure out on their own. So with that being said, like, it was hard. It was a good maybe 5 years it took me to pay off everything. And that's with selling the car. I had a brand new car at the time. It was a Chrysler and I did not enjoy it. And I just decided that I didn't need it. And once I moved from Texas and moved over here, I sold that car, just didn't look back, and decided that I'm never gonna buy another car that's brand new for the bad reasons of, just the fact that high interest rates just dig you in a hole that you can't, really see out of. And so I'd rather have more control. And so in order to have this control, I paid everything off. I went on a second deployment to Iraq, and from that one I was able to pay a lot of it down, save up a lot, and then come back with a plan this time, knowing that I'm gonna buy a house soon. I'm ready. I've saved up about $20,000, $25,000 at this point, but I also paid off all my debts. I have no one else that I owe, and trying to do things right, trying to understand what I've basically done to myself as far as not investing enough, at least in retirement, and trying to catch up now at 30, 33. It's not easy, but I think that if I continue to push on forward, I will get it done. 50,000 right now is not a lot, especially if that's what I'm looking at for retirement. But that's what's driving me to get to 100,000. That's what's driving me to push further and make sure that I could definitely get myself there if I decide to. And I have decided to do that. And so come along with me in this journey to basically learn more about investing, learn more about what it takes to live below your means, and only put the things that really matter to you in your goals and in your plans, and set everything else aside. Because at some point, driving a brand new car just doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I drive a beater now because I choose to, because I think that I'd rather invest that money than put it in a car. And yes, I do want a newer car eventually, but not a brand new car. A new to me car means more to me than a brand new one. And also with the old car, it humbles me a little, brings me back down to earth, and reminds me that, we have it good. Like, we have food here, we have a shelter, we have, enough to go out and eat if we want, be entertained. Like, I think we forget that, to be grateful for what we have is a big part of, just being happy. And so with that being said, come along with me on this journey to understand your finances. Maybe you'll pick up a few things here and there. I feel like as long as we keep pushing more content out, there's already people already doing this kind of content, but not necessarily for the military, but somewhat similar, right? Like Dave Ramsey, Caleb Hammer, who else? You got Grant Stefan. I think he does kind of like, credit card stuff. But all these YouTubers are already doing it. They've shown that it can be done. And what I'm trying to do is just bring it into the side of the military. And there's not really a lot that, the civilian side knows about the military. There's a lot of advantages to being in the military. And so what I'm trying to do is just kind of open up our eyes to see what those advantages are. And that's pretty much it. That's my story. Hey guys, that was Personal Finance Assessment. If you guys enjoy the show, appreciate it. Hit the sub button. We are trying to get to 10,000 subs. By all means, if you guys believe in what we're doing, keep sharing, keep hitting the like button, keep hitting that notification button. Thank you again. Have a great day, guys. Check out the next one.